The world is changing. Our relationship with the water around us is changing. With record-breaking storms and unprecedented flooding, we are faced with more hostile weather and live on the edge of disaster. On the other end, dams drying up and longer droughts can affect the water supply. As the world changes, those that adapt will thrive. Water is in us, in our bodies, in our lives, in our creations. Our relationship with water has helped define our evolution as people. This is rainwater. It is both a sign of dread and of hope. In our hands, it is the next step in that evolution. Rainwater harvesting technology aims to transform how we see rainwater, because with this technology, rain is no longer just a sign, it is now a resource. It is no longer something to fear, but to use. It is no longer just about life, but about living. So the integration of rainwater harvesting technology is not just the cost of convenience, but the cost of evolution. Because the world is changing, water is changing, we are changing. Are you ready for the next step? So, how does one take the next step? Where does rainwater harvesting begin? Developed in Germany, rainwater harvesting technology begins with filtration. The weather-resistant vortex fine filter, made of high-grade stainless steel, captures up to 90% of rainwater from the roof's gutters and downpipes, and uses the power of flowing water and gravity to both remove debris and clean itself, relying on the science of centrifugal force without the risk of clogging. The filtered rainwater then enters a storage tank through a smoothing inlet, which allows water to enter in a calm state that would allow both sediment to settle at the bottom and the water to remain oxygenated. The floating suction filter assures that water is extracted from the middle of the tank, where the water is cleanest. The floating suction is then connected to a water pump, which takes the water up and distributes it for use. A multi-siphon overflow with a check valve connects the tank to the drainage system in case the rain does not stop if the storage tank is full. Once the water is pumped up, the water can be further treated and purified using media filters, sediment filters, carbon filters, and then disinfected through a UV system. The water can then move to where it needs to go, from the faucets of a home to the boilers and cooling towers of buildings and factories, to the water supply of fire stations, and even to evacuation centres in times of disaster. With power of rainwater harvesting, toilets waste little in order to save on flushing. The low minerals in rainwater make it naturally soft and excellent for laundry or washing cars. Rainwater is the natural source of water for plants and crops. And rainwater that goes into your storage tank does not flood your streets and saves lives in times of emergency or disaster. When rainwater works for you and not against you, you save up to 50% on your water bills and take your first step towards water independence. Rainwater harvesting technology is here, and rainwater harvesting technology is the future. It is the next step towards water independence. It It is the next step in environmental sustainability and green technology. It is the next step in our relationship with water. So, are you ready for the future? Are you ready for evolution? Are you ready for rainwater harvesting?